What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Timon, and today we are going to be changing out the transmission fluid on my 10th gen Honda Civic Type R. So I know with the 10th generation Honda Civic Type Rs, there seems to be a lot of issues with grinding. I've only ever experienced about like 3 to 4 grinding, shifting from first gear to second gear, but I think that was on my era. I'm just gonna change it out. I'm about at 29,000, almost 30,000 miles, so I think it's due for a transmission change anyway, so let's get to it. Alright, so now I'm gonna pop open the hood and then we're gonna take apart the PRL intake to get to one of the drain plugs. I'm actually gonna take this jacket out because I don't want the zipper scratching the car. So for now, we're gonna be taking apart the PRL intake. So I'm just gonna get to that real quick and then show you guys the next step. Alright, now that I have the PRL intake out, you are going to need an extension right there to pull this bad boy loose right here. Alright, let's pull this bad boy loose. Hopefully I don't break a knuckle. Alright, I got 2 extensions and then the jack breaker bar. So this should be easier to now loosen. Whew, there we go. Man, that thing's on there. Now that we got that broken loose, we can jack the car up and go underneath to loosen that. You always want to loosen this first, just in case. So you want to loosen this top piece first, because imagine if you drain the bottom out and you can't get this piece for some weird reason. Now you're just leaking transmission fluid. So now that you're under the car, this is the bolt that you want to take out. So after you remove this, get your oil pan ready or drain pan ready, and all the transmission fluid will come straight out. All right. So again, it'll be this one right here. Take that out. Do this by hand. And boom. And that's how you drain the transmission fluid. All right, so this bolt is gonna be a 10mm bolt right here. All right. So on the bottom and the top, just make sure the washer is still intact and that you have it. You could either replace them or just reuse the same one, as the torque isn't as much. So here's the manual transmission fluid that I'm going to be using on my Type R. So I have 3 quarts of this, but the Type R will only take 2.3 quarts. On the 1.5 liter turbos, they'll take roughly around 1.9 quarts. I think the CVT is probably like 3.9 quarts. But in this case, you just need 3 of this and then use 2 full ones, and on the third one, just put 0.3. Here we go. Hopefully I don't spill any. That's 2. So from here, it's all the way up here. And I'm just gonna drop it down to about 7 right here. And that's perfect. After you fill in 2.3 quarts, tighten that also to 32 foot-pounds and go to the bottom. Right down here, make sure you reinstall the oil check fill plug, that 10mm bolt, and then you should be good. Alright, so it's been about 2 weeks after installing the Amsoil transmission fluid on my Type R, and to be honest, first initial impression was that the shifts were buttery smooth. It's been about 20-ish degrees out here in northern Mass, and honestly, the fluid helps shifting in the cold. That's one thing I noticed from the get-go, was that it wasn't as notchy, but that could also be taking out the OEM old fluid and then putting in the new one, so it might be a placebo effect. But honestly, after changing the transmission fluid, it's like buttery smooth. It's a lot smoother in the cold weather, and I'm pretty sure as the weather warms up, you know, new fluid is not bad fluid at all, so that's always a good thing. To do a recap too on the transmission oil change, you actually want the car leveled, so that way when you do add in the new transmission fluid, that 10mm bolt is actually like a drain fill plug. So whenever you tighten the bottom and add your new transmission fluid in, you'll fill it up until the new transmission fluid will start leaking out of that drain bolt. And obviously once it stops, put that 10mm bolt back in, and then just tighten the top, and then you're good to go. You're gonna need at least like 2 to 3 good jacks to be able to lift the Type R on all 4s, and then just have like one of those leveler things to make sure it's like fully leveled, and then that's basically how you do your transmission oil change. It's not really a hard job to do, and it took like 30 minutes, if that. I also did an oil change too that same day, so right after that transmission fluid and filming the video, I also did my oil change, and that's how I keep track of when I do it, so that way every 5,000 miles or so, next oil change. And I usually, like I said, it was around 29,000 miles, so the next oil change is probably at like 30, 33, yeah, like 33, 34, somewhere around there. So that was just a quick recap. It's winter time, so it's hard to really push out content like that. I usually, during the winter time, it's not usually mods. It should be mods, but I like to do maintenance. I like to catch up on all the maintenance that I need, because we're cold, it's inside. The power mods and all those other mods, I like to do it when the weather is warmer, so that way I'm outside, or at least the weather is comfortable enough to be outside and just hanging out with the guys, the boys. Don't forget to like, comment any questions you guys have, and subscribe to your boy for more future content. And I'll see you guys next time.